Restaurants. Eating out? It's one of our favorite pastimes when we travel. It can be slow and luxurious, or fast. And if it's fast, there's one restaurant chain we all know. It's the one that changed how we eat around the world. The restaurant? McDonald's. Remember this?
McDonald's is our kind of place.
If you vacation in one of the more than 100 countries around the globe that has a McDonald's, you'll probably hear that tune and see this face.
Place your kind of place.
Today, over 46 million people sit down and chow down at one of over 30,000 McDonald's to get their break every day. And while you might think every McDonald's is the same anywhere you travel, we found McDonald's restaurants unlike any you probably have ever seen. Get ready to supersize your travel adventure because the most unique McDonald's in the world are next. Burgers, fries, shakes. What we know today as fast food all started with these two brothers, Dick and Maurice McDonald, in San Bernardino, California. In 1948, they decided to open a restaurant that served mass-produced hot food quickly for the masses. Some of you might even recognize their logo from those days. His name is Speedy. Little did Dick and Mac know they were creating a whole new way of eating for the entire world. Ron Piazza is the franchise owner of one of the very first McDonald's ever built.
We took your order, we had our products ready to go, and you were out the window, and it wasn't a car hop, it wasn't sit down, and it was the first of its kind.
We enlisted the help of a McDonald's fanatic when we went looking for the 10 best.
Have Big Mac today.
And Peter Holden told us everything we needed to know about what makes a McDonald's different. For good reason. He claims to have been to nearly 12,000 of them.
As of the last trip that I just came back from, I've been at 11,928 different McDonald's in North America, and no two are exactly alike.
Peter collects McDonald's dining experiences like some people collect baseball cards. His first criteria?
Well, I will look at the menu, look for anything new and strange, especially when I'm traveling, try to find something different if I possibly can.
Peter took us to our first unique McDonald's. To find it, we traveled to Downey, California, just east of Los Angeles. Before there were Big Macs or McNuggets to dip in honey mustard sauce, there was this.
From a historical standpoint, my favorite McDonald's, perhaps of all time, is in Downey, California.
Built in 1953, would you believe that this Golden Arches restaurant is so important it's listed on the National Register of Historic Places? So why would a fast food restaurant be on the same list as the White House?
There are 30,000 McDonald's restaurants around the world. We are the oldest operating one. They all came after us.
This McDonald's is the granddaddy of an American institution, and that's why it's the world's oldest operating McDonald's. But how did the Golden Arches become the gold standard for all fast food? Think milkshakes. Dick and Mac McDonald owned 8 thriving McDonald's restaurants in the 50s. Business was so good, in fact, they needed to order 8 new milkshake mixers.
The multi-mixer is the key ingredient in the McDonald's story. And when Ray Kroc received the order for 8 multi-mixers, he couldn't believe it. He knew he needed to be part of this historic event to spread McDonald's across the country.
Ray Kroc, the multi-mixer salesman, immediately licensed the McDonald's name and speedy service. An empire was started.
It's truly the American success story. Ray Kroc comes up with an idea, franchises one restaurant that leads to thousands and thousands of restaurants throughout the world.
The very first arches were built to hold up the roof, not to advertise the restaurant.
The The McDonald's logo actually started from the architecture developed at this restaurant. If you look back from an angle, you can see the McDonald's logo built in on the side of the building. Today, that McDonald's logo is easily the most recognizable icon in the world.
Step in here. If you love Big Macs, then you're walking on seriously sacred territory. It's the McDonald's Museum. You can check out a cash register from the very first restaurant. But this might be the most important item in the museum, the milkshake mixer that started the McDonald's empire. If you want to run one, just sign up for Hamburger University, because that's where they train you to run and own a franchise. The oldest operating McDonald's might be one thing, but for our next most unique McDonald's, we found one that will really surprise you. Got a passion for supersized fries? Or a true talent for eating quarter pounders with cheese? Don't worry, take a trip here to New York City, and you'll be living your dream in no time, because with almost 600 McDonald's to choose from, you're not going to have to look very long to find our next pick. We headed to the heart of Manhattan to one of the most famous corners on Earth, Times Square, 42nd Street and Broadway. It's here that mega-hit musicals like Phantom of the Opera and the producers wow audiences from around the world. Every year, the bright lights of this famous intersection draw people with big dreams and big appetites. No, Ronald McDonald's not starring in his one-man show, but it does look like a theater, starting with this, an authentic Broadway marquee.
First time we walked by, all the lights were on, and it was in the summer, and we were burning up. We couldn't believe how hot it was underneath the wattage there. It's more wattage than a lot of Broadway shows. It's kind of scary.
This thing glows and it rocks, and when you go down 42nd Street and you take a look at the McDonald's sign, you can't help but stop and say, wow, look at that McDonald's restaurant.
With 7,500 glittering bulbs, this show-stopping sign soaks up a lot of watts every day and demands more attention than a Broadway star.
So we actually had to go out and get our own boom truck, and one of our people on staff is actually up there changing bulbs every day.
If you think this place looks like a theater on the outside, wait till we take you backstage. When you walk in, you know something is very different. Look around this McDonald's, and you'll wonder if you're here for a Big Mac or a casting call. We're naming this center stage fast food star the world's most entertaining McDonald's.
When we had the opportunity to develop the location and come up with a theme for the store, it was a natural for us with our 4 levels to think about doing something that related to the backstage theatrical feel of the neighborhood.
The backstage atmosphere is just the setting for so much more. You want entertainment, you got it. 60 video and plasma screens stream movie trailers, McDonald's trivia, and even info on Times Square. It's all designed to make you feel like you're auditioning for the McMeal of a lifetime.
We get a lot of actors and people in the theater industry that work in the area that stop by and really enjoy this McDonald's. They feel that it's really very funky and cool, and it makes them feel like they're really in an environment that relates very much to the backstage theatrical setting that we've tried to achieve.
But where does all this moody atmosphere and smell of the grease paint feel come from? Look up, way up. The spotlights spinning logos throughout the restaurant are real theatrical lights. In fact, all the lights in here are straight off the Great White Way.
And we chose Altman Lighting, who are the #1 manufacturers and distributors of theatrical stage lighting.
Something else that stands out here? Everything is oversized. It has the biggest McDonald's kitchen in the world with 18 feet of sizzling grill space, a necessity when you're cooking for over 5,000 customers a day. If you're a Broadway star stopping in for your Filet-O-Fish, just don't mistake a Happy Meal toy for your Tony. Bright lights, Broadway just outside the door, and stars all around, it is the world's most entertaining McDonald's. Broadway might be a great place to find Ronald McDonald, but we found another unique McDonald's where this famous clown is the main attraction. You might remember the first time Ronald appeared on TV.
McDonald's hamburgers. A magic tray here keeps me well supplied.
It was 1963 in this commercial.
Watch for me on TV. We'll have lots of fun.
Yes, it's Willard Scott.
And I did meet the first Ronald McDonald, Willard Scott, some years ago, and I got his autograph and was excited at the time just for the sake of meeting somebody playing a character that I revere. It's a character that many, many children in the United States and Canada and the rest of the world have grown up with. Ronald McDonald. It represents the food, the folks, and the fun.
Now, if you're a kid wanting beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, onions on a sesame seed bun, and a party with Ronald, this is the location you'll want to visit, Dallas, Texas. There's no doubt McDonald's has always been big with kids, but come here and you can get happy on a grand scale too.
I literally took a Happy Meal box out of a restaurant. I gave it to my architect and said, I want you to design a playland that looks exactly like this.
Ed Bailey owns and operates this over-the-top fast food stop.
This store outsells the average restaurant 2-to-1 in Happy Meal sales. The reason is obvious. When you see the outside of this restaurant, it's like a magnet for kids.
Step through these doors and you're going to really find out why this Golden Arches makes our list as the world's happiest McDonald's.
What are you doing here?
Well, this is my place. Want to come play? Let's go.
Ronald is the other reason this is the happiest McDonald's we found. He's one of the most famous clowns in the world and a star at this Dallas Play Place.
Hey!
Gotcha.
If you look carefully, you might even see a few other familiar faces too. You can't have Ronald at your party without the Hamburglar or Grimace. One of their more memorable slogans is, "We love to see you smile." And that probably is just what you'll do at the world's happiest McDonald's.
Okay? All right.
Coming up, want to eat like royalty on a fast food budget? It's in one of the world's greatest cities. We'll show you how to find it. But first, our guide Peter Holden takes us to a McDonald's that looks more like a mansion than a McDonald's. It's all coming up next as we uncover the most unique McDonald's on Earth. We're back, and we're traveling to the top 10 best McDonald's in the world. And with more than 30,000 restaurants to choose from, choosing is a real challenge. Helping us, Peter Holden. Believe it or not, he plans his vacations by going to McDonald's all over the globe. Peter's been to nearly 12,000 so far, and we're told that's a world record.
The fact that it's a pop culture icon to a lot of people is because they grew up in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and into the next century eating the food, traveling the interstate highways.
That sense of finding comfort food while you're traveling is what brought us to our number 7 world's best McDonald's. We found it in Lafayette, Indiana. Hoosier country. This vintage commercial would fit right in here.
You're the one. You are the only reason. You're the one. We take pride in pleasing.
Lafayette is small-town USA, but don't expect this McDonald's to serve food fast. It looks sort of familiar. arches of gold, the McDonald's sign, but go inside and you're greeted with this.
Hi, welcome to the McDiner. Would you like a table or booth? Table, please. Right this way.
It's a hostess, and she's about to seat you at a McDonald's? And those are real menus, because this McDonald's has a diner inside. Peter Holden's been there, and he rates it as one of his most unusual McDonald's experiences.
The new McDiner, or diner inside concept, it's great because there's at least 100 new food items on there that I can partake in.
Bacon McDonald's. Wow.
You can get not only everything you would get in a regular McDonald's at McDonald's with the diner inside, but you can get over 122 new menu items that are not offered at any McDonald's.
Like Belgian waffles with strawberries and whipped cream. You ever wish you could have Thanksgiving in July? Well, then order a turkey dinner with gravy. It isn't only what you order that makes this McDonald's different, it's also how you order it.
Oh, look, please press button to place order.
Pick up the phone and there's a voice on the other end. It's Katie, the face behind the phone.
Yes, we do. Thank you for choosing McDonald's with a diner inside. This is Katie. How can I help you? Okay, white wheat or rye. Okay.
5 or 10 minutes later, you're chomping on a cheeseburger, and it's brought to you by a waiter.
Okay, who had the chicken fried steak dinner?
At a fast food restaurant.
That looks good.
And the hot...
Here's the best part. Everything on the menu costs under $10. Even the steak. But if you're traveling on a budget, there's one more important detail.
I just want to remind you that there's no tipping at the McDonald's diner, and I hope you folks have a good day and come see us again.
Great. Oh, yeah, we will. Thank you.
All right.
After a long day of driving with the kids, no need to stand on your feet to order here, and no tip. What more could you want from the McDonald's with a diner inside? Now, if you think sitting down to give your order at McDonald's is new and different, how about taking a seat, but this time in the lap of total luxury? You've seen pictures of the Old South, huge houses, extravagant decor, serious wealth. Well, if you head to the vacation playland of Asheville, North Carolina, you'll get a taste of it in our next most unique McDonald's restaurant. This might look like ritzy Newport Beach or mansions on Long Island, but it's actually Biltmore Village, a little town started at the end of the 19th century by railroad empire heir George Vanderbilt. This magnate built the largest house in the U.S., the Biltmore Estate. Today, it's a top tourist attraction where you get to wander through its 250 rooms, and most come with their own bathroom. Think it's the last place you'd see a McDonald's? Well, look close, because you're about to see a McDonald's unlike any other. Our McDonald's fanatic even flew his parents here.
I remember that McDonald's specifically because it's across the street from the Biltmore Estate, and the McDonald's mirrors it. It's not a castle, but the way it's laid out, and it's posh setting, quiet, subdued. This is Asheville, a very upscale resort.
Shirley Ballou is the director of operations at this McDonald's mansion lookalike.
In order to build here in Biltmore Village, we had to get a certificate of appropriateness from the City of Asheville and the Biltmore Village Historical Resources Commission.
Even the materials used in the construction were millionaire quality.
Some of the materials that were used on the inside are a lot of the materials that were used at Biltmore Estate. You'll find red oak through the interior. You'll also see copper. And you'll see wrought iron, fine wrought iron, in the dining room.
That's why we're calling this the world's classiest McDonald's.
Everything that we have here at the store is tied in with the Biltmore Estate, as far as from the look to the uniforms to everything that we do here.
We wear the vest and the tie because the crew over at the Biltmore House does.
This classy fast food restaurant even has an indoor fireplace.
At the Biltmore Estate, there are 65 fireplaces in the house itself, so we felt it was appropriate to include a fireplace in our dining room.
With its Rockefeller tastes and live music, this McDonald's is a destination for couples all over Asheville. Tonight, teenagers Brittany Roberts and Buck Ball can live like royalty, but on a high school budget.
Can I have a Big Mac with small fries?
$4.18 is your change.
Where else can you wow a date with dinner for two for under $10?
This is a great place for a cheap romantic date because we have a great menu, we have great atmosphere, it's a great dining experience.
But is going on your first date to a Golden Arches really the way to get a second date?
I thought it was really neat. I've never seen a McDonald's like this before, and when I saw it, I was really shocked that they had actually made a McDonald's like this.
Big Macs and fries with a side of total luxury. It's what makes the Golden Arches at the Biltmore Estate in Asheville, North Carolina, a 5-star experience on a 1-star budget. When you think of fast food, you have to think of McDonald's. And this commercial from the 1980s makes us all feel good about it. McDonald's invented fast food, and you can't travel anywhere in the world without finding one, which is why we set out to find the best. And with over 30,000 to choose from, we had to enlist some help. Peter Holden is a McDonald's fanatic.
From 20-some years ago, in Dallas, Texas, they wanted to have a cowboy boot and a drinking mug and the McDonald's logo. I could not pass that up.
He travels the globe on vacation just to try and taste them all. Count so far? Nearly 12,000.
I thought, well, it's an excuse to go somewhere. And that became the reason to collect McDonald's. It was always an excuse to go to places nobody else would ever go, sightseeing, traveling, shopping, or whatever. And I went.
But we found one that Peter hasn't been to. Maybe the location has something to do with it.
The days are about 4 hours sunlight this time of the year, and it's about minus 15 degrees Celsius today.
We're traveling to the Arctic Circle for our next most unique McDonald's, where the ice isn't just in your soda, and half the fun is getting there. We're in northern Sweden, in the village of Petia, about an 8-hour car ride from Stockholm. If you want to get your all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun in Petia, well, you have to do something different.
The only place you can drive a snowmobile and eat at the same time.
If you're having a Big Mac attack in this cold climate, you rev up your snowmobile.
We love snowmobiles, so why don't you eat on them?
With winter temperatures going down to 15 degrees below 0 Celsius, this Arctic Circle Golden Arches is the world's coldest McDonald's. Look around this Arctic environment, and you'll see this in a field. Recognize the sign? It's on a snowmobile trail. Why? Eva Olsen knows.
When I came up here, I saw that they have very many snowmobiles. I went over and asked them why they didn't come over to McDonald's. And they said that they needed a track.
So Eva built this, an icy exit with sign for snowmobilers who demand McFlurry shakes with their snowflakes. When you finally do pull into the parking lot of this McDonald's, you can sit down with the regular customers if you want, Or you can stay outside and do what the real insiders do.
Välkommen till McDonalds, vad får du lov att vara?
You were looking at the only one of its kind, a snowmobile drive-through.
Tack. 2 stycken Big Mac och Company och 2 Happy Meal.
You can sit down with the regular customers if you want. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would anyone be crazy enough to eat a cheeseburger in sub-zero temperatures? But if you were faced with a 7-month winter, you'd have to be resourceful too.
Because it's so cold outside, you don't want to get undressed and go inside the McDonald's. You want to eat it out here.
The most difficult thing to eat outside, that's you be cold on the fingers. But it's lovely anyhow.
So, with all this winter around, does McDonald's supply their customers with specially insulated burger boxes to keep their Happy Meals hot?
We don't have any special containers for the snowmobilers.
You have to eat it quick or it's cold.
If you want to pull into one of the hottest drive-thrus around, you're going to have to go to the coldest McDonald's on Earth, right here in the Arctic Circle.
Smaklig måltid.
Seeing snowmobiles at a drive-thru is one thing, but imagine ordering your McRibs and seeing this when you come to our next most unique McDonald's in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. This town is all about farms. So if you look around, you might be asking, where's the McDonald's?
Well, you just explain it's a big barn. A big red barn on Main Street.
Even farmers have fallen in love with fast food, making this the best McDonald's on a farm. But this Golden Arches is so different, even the townsfolk of Moose Jaw didn't know what to make of it at first.
Didn't really know what to think. I haven't really seen anything like this before.
But this is the first time I've been into this one, and it's very, very different.
Take a look over there. Instead of snowmobiles, you drive your tractor through the drive-in window.
Well, we like to come here because of the service, as we can get our breakfast and be on the road, headed out to the farm early in the morning.
Big Mac, meal, and root beer, please.
We have the odd tractor that shows up, comes through our drive-thru and orders a Big Mac and fries, and back to work he goes.
There you go, sir. That's what we call a service, eh? No problem. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
There's one thing in here that you won't find in just any old barn or any old McDonald's. From the outside, it looks like a regular grain silo. But take a look at what's going on inside. This is Ronald McDonald Land, and it's built inside the silo. That slide is over 30 feet long. Moose in the yard, tractors at the drive-thru, slides in the silos. What more could make it a good time for the great taste of McDonald's? How about ending your day here, next to the fireplace? After all, even farmers deserve a little class. It's one of the most recognized symbols around the globe, the Golden Arches, and one of the most successful businesses ever. Their secret? Serving hot food fast to hungry travelers. With more than 30,000 McDonald's to choose from, we decided to discover the most unique in the world. But imagine stopping in at one and asking for this.
All beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
But they didn't have it. Then you've arrived at one of the most unique McDonald's in the world. This McDonald's is one of Canada's most popular vacation destinations, Montreal. The people here say culture thrives on good food and good coffee.
Montrealers do enjoy a gourmet coffee, sipping on the coffee in a relaxing environment. There seems to be a European flavor in this city.
It's at 1500 Atwater Street. And when travel-weary vacationers stop here, first thing they notice? No Big Macs, no Egg McMuffins. In fact, it feels more like a European bistro.
We have delicious tasting soups, fresh desserts every single day, as well as sandwiches that are made on the premises.
Take a bite out of the old world with Le Sandwich aux Languettes du Poyer. If you can't pronounce it, it must be good. Devour the gâteau choco banane or inhale the mousse au chocolat belge. And you'll still have change for more. Remember, this is a McDonald's. This is the very first standalone Golden Arches coffee house and bistro in North America. We think the most unique McDonald's cafe. Even the seats are designer.
Well, I like the fact I can bring a book, just sit down, relax, read a book, and not feel rushed or anything.
Now, if you did come all this way for a quarter pounder with cheese, don't panic. Look next door. The old familiar menu is right there. And guess what? If you feel like having your cheeseburger with chocolate mousse, you can bring your burger right into the bistro.
Our customers are definitely allowed to bring food that they order at the McDonald's counter into the McCafe. We are there to satisfy their needs.
So you've got your gourmet sandwiches, the fancy desserts are great, and there's a real McDonald's right next door. But with all these perks, one question remains. Really, how does the coffee taste?
You know, I did not believe that McDonald's could make better coffee than all those other coffee places, but they really do. It's great coffee.
This McDonald's cafe looks like it's good to the last drop. And if you want an authentic cafe experience in Montreal, complete with a Big Mac, stop in at 1500 Atwater in Montreal. When we went searching for the most unique McDonald's in the world, we enlisted the help of Peter Holden. He's been to more than anyone we could find.
Greetings, it's time for lunch.
We asked him, what makes a McDonald's stand out from the crowd?
Thank you very much. There are some McDonald's in the United States that are actually gathering places for the locals. They play bingo there, their retirees are there. They come there for the birthday parties. I had a birthday party and I was 38 years old. It was a big surprise party for me, so I enjoyed it. It was fun, it was exciting.
Having fun is what our next McDonald's is all about. Consider that kids under the age of 12 make 1/3 of all dining out decisions. Then you'll know why one franchise owner in the vacation destination of Orlando, Florida, did this.
There's always some new surprise around every corner. You know, the reaction when they walk in the door is the old wow factor. They don't really literally know what to do first.
There are 8,000 Ronald McDonald Playlands around the world. But at this over-the-top Playland, celebrating that special day is a status symbol.
It's not just a birthday party. It's like heaven.
In fact, this McDonald's location is so popular among kids that it hosts about 15 parties every weekend. That's over 750 birthday parties a year. And if you're lucky enough to celebrate that special day here, you're going to get things you won't find at your everyday Golden Arches. Never eaten a pizza at McDonald's? You can here. Not only that, you get to watch them make it.
McDonald's has always hidden the preparation of the food in the kitchen, and it's wonderful ingredients that we use. And I wanted to bring that out in the front of the house with real chef uniforms so everybody could see the fine way that we put things together at McDonald's.
Party here, and you can have a balloon maker, a body painter, he draws a pretty mean hamburglar, and even a magician. But if you think this playland puts on a great spread downstairs, wait until you see what's on the second floor of this 15,000 square foot party palace. They have 60 video arcade games, air hockey tables, and even skee ball.
This must be the best McDonald's playground I've ever seen in any McDonald's in my entire life.
Okay, so the arcade is great, but there's one more thing that sets this playland apart from all others. The mother of all mazes. A 2,500 square foot monster that serves up 25,000 feet of snaking tunnels, hyper fast slides, and enough secret hiding places to keep even the most discerning Happy Meal lover satisfied. If you think it's all for the kids, there's another reason parents make Playland their party destination.
I don't have to clean up, I don't have to entertain, I don't have to babysit, so it's wonderful. It's great to have a party here.
Next time you're traveling in Orlando, just keep your eyes peeled for the biggest order of French fries you've ever seen. Because this McDonald's is also the best McDonald's to play in. We've traveled all over the world to find the most unique McDonald's. We began with the oldest one, where we saw the milkshake machine that started an empire. Then it was lights, camera, action at our Broadway McDonald's. But Ronald was the star when we went to Dallas, Texas for the happiest McDonald's. The most unique McDonald's in Indiana? It was a diner. We traveled way down to the deep south, Scarlett O'Hara country, for the classiest in Asheville, North Carolina. But for the next most unique McDonald's, you needed a parka and this, because this is Pattaya, Sweden in the Arctic Circle. We found tractors at our most unique McDonald's on a farm in Moose Jaw, Canada. And our other Canadian McD's didn't even serve burgers. But if you had a Big Mac attack at our unique McDonald's in Orlando, Florida, you'd want to eat it after playing in the world's biggest McDonald's playland. Now, for the McDonald's you've been waiting for. The one we think might be the most unique anywhere. To find it, we didn't go to your everyday suburban neighborhood. We had to go across the ocean to one of the most famous cities in the world, Rome. Now, you might think about the Sistine Chapel or the famed Trevi Fountain when you think about traveling to Rome. But believe it or not, in this city of ancient history, McDonald's has become the spot to supersize your extra value meal. And it's in this historic building. The location? Near the Spanish Steps in the ritzy La Piazza di Spagna.
For the last 400 years, Piazza di Spagna has been the center for all travelers to Rome. People come to Rome to see the Colosseum, and they also come to Piazza di Spagna. It's also the fashion center.
The Spanish Steps are all about romance and affluence, and that includes this Roman McDonald's. It's the most opulent McDonald's we've found. Walk through the front door and look around. This place is palatial. Those bright, dramatic arches just might make you feel like you're entering St. Peter's Basilica. That's not your everyday tiled surface. Seem familiar? The floor of this McDonald's is meant to resemble the ancient cobblestone streets of the Piazza di Spagna just outside. But if you still don't want to put on a toga, then walk down this hallway and check out the full-size replica of a Roman statue. The ancient architectural details continue. A waterfall made to look like it came from the ruins. Italian marble on almost every wall.
The travertine marble that is used in the architecture of the restaurant comes from near Rome in a place called Tivoli, and it's used in lots of the buildings in Rome.
Even the steps inside feel like they're from the Colosseum. They lead you to the second floor of one of the largest McDonald's ever built. It has 800 seats, 14 cash registers, and over 14,000 square feet of space. The Big Macs here are reportedly the most expensive anywhere in the world. And if you still don't feel like you're having quarter pounders in a Roman villa, then take a look at the view. Those aren't windows. They're real frescoes, painted to resemble the rooftops of Rome.
It was important for us to make this place as elegant as possible in order to do justice to the surrounding area of Piazza di Spagna.
But it's not just what you're looking at that makes this one of the most extravagant McDonald's you'll ever visit. Step over here and check out this. Okay, it's a McDonald's salad bar. But look closely, and you're going to realize this isn't your everyday pickled beets and bacon bits bonanza.
We have squid salad, couscous, rice salad.
Yes, squid salad at this McDonald's. Almost any ensalate combination you can think of, you can get.
I like the salads. We don't normally in England get salads with our meal, which makes it a very nice change.
Before you leave, don't forget dessert. But we're not talking about hot apple pie or chocolate fudge sundae. When in Rome, do as the Romans do and finish off your opulent McDonald's experience with this. Instead of McFlurries, try gelato.
This is delivered to us freshly every day from a local supplier.
Love Italian ice cream. Lovely.
Take a bite of this creamy Italian specialty and you'll know that you're indulging in one of the most extravagant McDonald's ever.
It's one of the best McDonald's I've been in.
Gelato with Michelangelo. Roman arches and travertine walls, all in one of the world's greatest cities. No wonder we think this McDonald's is the world's most unique.